I think we're live. Welcome back. How's it going out there? We are hopefully you can hear us. Hopefully, I think you can. We're in the studio today. Welcome back. We've been gone, but it's good to be back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We have a special guest today, Logan Whorton in the building, all the way from O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
So thanks for being here. Thanks for making the trip. It's been rainy. It's been a mess, but hey, man, you made it.
Yeah, it was a little treacherous some parts of the journey, but
you're here.
It's not too far. Yeah, it's
That's
really
the important thing.
It's hour and a half, 2 hours to get here. It's
yeah. So we want to dive into your story. You have a new documentary out. It's coming out.
Yeah, coming out. It's in the works.
You've been on a media circuit this morning, so we appreciate you coming in the studio, bouncing around, doing interviews. We have more scheduled today. I know you'll be here all weekend, so we're going to get into all that. But first, I want to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you. Now we can live stream. So this is why we're doing this. And I appreciate you, Logan, for coming in and just seeing how this goes with us. This is our first live stream with the podcast.
I'm pumped.
So yeah, man, we'll just have a conversation, similar to a podcast. We're going to try a few different formats, maybe some segments as we, move through this podcast. So, I want to say thanks again, for listening, subscribing. I want to do a little plug for our online Union Street shop. We just got a restock of our new shirts. You can see here, it's inspired from our mural. We have another one from our other mural, but really the new stuff, we got a hat. Those are coming in, but we have this mug too. So we have the mug in person. So join the mug club. Oh, Spill coffee. It does hold coffee.
It's tall. I
think it's 16 ounces.
Holding coffee or other beverages.
So yeah, it does hold liquid. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, that's that. Check out our website, unionstreetarts.com. If you want to find a way to support what we're doing here, just do that. Check it out. Support it. Buy something. Like our stuff on social media. We're going to just jump into the podcast now. But yeah, thanks for listening. Subscribe, Logan. We're going to go to you, man. We're going to hear your story. And yeah, let's just jump into it, eh? Get out of here.
I like the music.
I just pulled that from this morning. I'm like, I need some music. Like, what are we gonna use? It's like, oh, this sounds fine.
Where'd you get it from? Is it like free use?
No, it's actually a subscription.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a subscription platform. It's like a yearly thing that you subscribe to, and it's like unlimited downloads. There's a bunch of them, like Artlist, Music Bed. There's a bunch.
I'll just get that list from you.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. I use it for a lot of different things. But yeah, thank you again. We're going to jump into this interview. We're calling this new segment The Hot Seat, so we can interview people like Logan and hear about your story. So, Logan, again, thanks for being here. You're coming down.
It's a pleasure.
You're coming down from O'Fallon, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually coming down from Glen Carbon, where I live now. Is this good? Should I move it a little bit? Or?
I think you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been filming this documentary. I started filming in late September technically, but I normally tell people October. That's really when it started to pick up. And it's a year-long documentary about the cultures, histories, and everyday lives of people across Southern Illinois. And the concept of Southern Illinois is a whole conversation in itself. Where are the boundary lines for Southern Illinois? Because if you talk to people down near Cairo, they're going to give you one definition. Or you talk to people in Alton, which some people might not even include. So, it's really me traveling across the region, interviewing historians, but then also covering festivals, cultural events, and people in different jobs, people with different backgrounds, because Southern Illinois is way more diverse than I think maybe even people in this area think it is, but especially people outside of this area. So
Yeah, there's almost a perception of small town rule, like everyone's sort of whitewashed, if you will, and there are a lot of fascinating stories. So where I don't want to have any spoilers for the documentary during this podcast, but maybe we can just talk about like what. So you mentioned something. Where is the region of Southern Illinois? Where do you define that? Or how are you going about the process of, defining that? Because for me, O'Fallon, that area, it's interesting. It's always the Metro East. That's what I would, growing up, would always call it. I'd go up there for like soccer practice or games or whatever. It's like, oh, we're going to the Metro East. So, for me, it's like, where's that boundary? Is it Effingham? Is it where the trees change? What is that?
yeah, so what I've been letting the people define it. I ask, it's an interview question I always have for basically anyone, because I really want to let the people who are currently living here define who they are, where they're from. So that's kind of my definition. I mean, there's the historical definition, which I was interviewing John Musgrave this morning, and he again brought this up, that it used to be the B&O Railroad, which goes through, and I didn't learn this until doing this documentary, goes through O'Fallon, Illinois. And but then they built Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Things started to get a little more like, is this Southern Illinois? Maybe we can include like this county, Madison County, which is where SIUE is. And so it's interesting. It's and I have this file on my computer just of maps of different organizations' definitions of Southern Illinois, and it's just a whole other topic to see who's included, who's not.
Yeah.
I'm by nature, I'm an includer, so I'm always like, whoever wants to be, I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
But
What point? Central Illinois, right? There, a lot of farmland right here too.
yeah,
That's sort of throughout. So yeah, it's so through the, maybe you can touch on that history. Is there can you touch on where that was and sort of the county we're in? Because being not from here, I'm from Williamson County, but is there something you can do? Again, I don't want to dive too much, let people wait for the documentary, right? And we can show maybe your links, because that's how I came across you, actually, is on Instagram. We can talk about how we came across, and how we even got here. But is there any like, because I don't want to say like, not an outsider point of view, but not being from the county, because there's a varied history in this county. I mean, maybe John talked about that, but
yeah, he talked a lot.
Yeah.
Because bloody Williamson County.
Yeah. There's been
there's a history of violence, dating back 1870s and even before. So yeah, John covered a lot of that, and to prep, it felt a little overwhelming because there has been so much written about Williamson County. And so this was one I've been covering, kind of going to other museums and covering different histories, especially because I'm more familiar with, up around kind of the Metro East area and in the American Bottoms, so to speak.
Now, what is that? American Bottoms? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so that's the area of the Mississippi. I forgot the exact boundaries of it, but it's kind of like the very fertile land that often floods from Alton kind of down to like Wolf Lake, East Cape area. And so that history is even different than Williamson County, and who was settling there. And so Your question was about Williamson County
it
history.
wasn't super specific, but
being an outsider, right?
well, I don't know. Yeah, just anything from that conversation being at the historical society in the jail, right? I think you said enough, to be honest. So I mean,
I'll stop.
Yeah, no, save it for the doc. And speaking of that, is there? Can we talk? Can we pull up a page? Can we talk timeline? When did this start? The documentary, and can you tell us a little bit more how you got into filmmaking in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I was living in Los Angeles for 3 years. I graduated from the University of Vermont. But I grew up mostly in O'Fallon. My dad was military, so we were moving like kind of every 2 years until I was in 6th grade. And then he retired when I was in 8th or 9th grade. And let's see. Yeah, University of Vermont, and I studied anthropology. So I didn't study film. I studied abroad, and then I took some film classes in Mexico City. Like I was mentioning right before the podcast, we just met for the audience too.
Yeah, literally coming in like straight through the door onto the live.
Yeah,
just going for it. So yeah, no. So Mexico City. So was that a class? What sort of experience was that?
Yeah, it was. I was a Spanish minor, so then I was in. I took communication courses in this school. All in Spanish, and then one of the courses was like a intro to filmmaking, like one of those courses where your end project is like short film. So then you have to learn how to record audio, you have to write a script, you have to choose who the director is, you got to like pitch your idea. This is all in Spanish, and so
the class itself was in Spanish.
The class, all my fellow students. There was no other American students in the school when I was there.
How'd you get linked up there?
It was a program at the University of Vermont. They didn't have the school La Salle wasn't associated with like the University of Vermont. It was kind of a mess, honestly. And then trying to get credit for those classes was interesting because they didn't exactly fully mesh with the University of Vermont's programs. So
talk about that experience, like that first documentary film. Did you have a subject? How did you get started? Did you start shooting? Can you tease that process more?
Yeah. So we made like a short film, Mexico City, short fiction film. But I actually got interested in anthropology because of the films that we would watch in class and about different cultures. And I was like, wow, this is such a cool way for people to learn about people outside their own little circles, and also kind of mix art in there. Because I think always I wanted to be an artist, but I really had, my dad was military, his dad was military, my mom's dad was military, her dad who died in Vietnam was military. So yeah. It's like a very, I didn't really have a lot of mentors growing up, even before Illinois, who were artists or people who were kind of pursuing, I won't say creative passions, but, because you can use creativity in all different fields. But yeah, I didn't have someone who was kind of doing what I saw myself doing. My mentors all came from YouTube or from films, from my own research, not in my community. And that, fast forward, that kind of informs like me doing stuff nowadays, because like recently I went back to my old junior high school in O'Fallon and I taught a filmmaking course.
That's cool.
And I was like, because I'm like, if it just sparks one kid's, oh my God, this person's doing this, they look like they're surviving. It's all about that. Yeah. Well, he looks like he's doing well. He's got passion for this. He's making it work, and he's has this mission to help other people with art. And like that was the yeah, I think I'm still trying to inspire people in their own communities to they have important stories that their stories are important and deserve to be told. So
That's awesome. So it really sounds like anthropology, the interest in like the human story, sort of parlayed into the documentary filmmaking. But can you just define anthropology? Can you break that down more for anyone that might not even know what anthropology is?
Yeah, good point. It's the study of human culture. So it includes archaeology, study of human remains. It includes biological anthropology, linguistic, and then cultural. So there's kind of like, is that four? Yeah, like four categories under anthropology. So I was really interested in the cultural aspect. I had this professor in college who showed this documentary on street kids, and it was the anthropologist living alongside like these children in subway tunnels. I forgot which country, but it was just so you couldn't, if you had any amount of empathy, you couldn't help but feel for these kids. Like, yeah, it's even difficult to put into words because it's that feeling that you get from artwork, from the arts, that you can write some essay, some anthropological study, which I think eventually comes about, that's very academic, looking at the history of how this came to be, how these kids are living on the streets, huffing paint, to get high, to escape. And, but just seeing it in a film, it's just so different. It's ephemeral. I don't know. You can't put it in words. So I was like, yeah, that's something I'm really interested in doing.
Absolutely.
But it took me a long time to finally be like, oh, I can do that.
What's a journey,
for many,
right?
yeah.
Takes steps, being exposed to like that type of storytelling, its impact might even have even more delayed, cause and effect even later. So why is that important? The cultural side of anthropology. Why study it? Why does that matter?
Oh, so many reasons, Luke. But I mean,
what's the top reason?
my top reason was that it's bridging understanding between people, because to study anthropology, you have to know the history behind cultures and behind groups of people. And then you also are looking at, this is for cultural, you're looking at how they're currently living. It's observation. It's really, that's the basis of it, just observing and being like an active listener. And so it's so relevant for people to better work together and better understand, because I think, especially with social media, you can just think the world exists in some certain way and have your world in like a little technological bubble, but it's really some people need wake up calls, and to be called in, though, not called out.
Yeah,
I guess.
No, I think it's fascinating too. I love that observational, that oral history. I think it's really cool. So I want to hear, always hear your perspective on like why that, what got you in there, what fascinates you about that. So really cool. And that goes right into the documentary. Can we pull up a page? And actually I do want to talk how we met online, because you brought up the social media.
Yeah.
And that's how I think on Instagram I was familiar with Logworks, Logan, Whorton, So Well Film. Is that right? Did I get all that? Can we bring some of this up?
Yeah, definitely.
What we can do the website. Do you want to talk about Instagram? What's the best channel here?
Yeah, maybe if we start with the website.
Okay. Got it right here.
That'd be a good primer.
So can you talk to us what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is the Logworks page. So Logworks, it's funny we're having this conversation right now too, because I'm getting assistance from the Volunteer Lawyers and Accountants for the Arts, which is huge. Shout out VLAA and St. Louis if people need help and they fit certain criteria for being artists, and certain wealth brackets too. But you'll basically get pro bono services to help with your whatever project. So I contacted them because, again, I have some mentors from Los Angeles and some filmmakers working in St. Louis who have been huge in helping me kind of decide what direction I want to take with Logworks. Because for the longest time, I mean, I created it in COVID times to basically like help people achieve their dreams, their creative dreams, but then also helping community at the same time, because I was seeing sometimes people were having success, but then they were kind of not towing along their community or bringing up at the same time. Capitalism.
There's a good saying, the rising tide raises all ships, right? And that sort of idea. But yeah, capitalism, we do live in a capitalist society. It is adversarial at points, and money is the root of all evil, or the love of money. And but it is our current existence in this right now.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's above us, it's everywhere. But I think that's cool to like help, share stories, because that's, I'm really in line with a lot of stuff. I feel like we have a similar story in a lot of ways. It sounds like similar areas, yada yada. But there's a video I think I saw. There's like postcards or something, or like was there like stop motion, or there was like an about video or something?
Yeah,
see?
On the about page of Logworks.
About page. Can we look at that? Because I think that's really cool and like visual.
Thank you.
I love visual storytelling.
Yeah, I need to update this too. This is so context. Course. Yeah, context.
Right. Let's give some context here.
This is when I was in Los Angeles, and I think I was already thinking about the idea for some type of film. I applied to film schools. This is kind of my history all over the place.
Yeah. This has been a wild ride. We're just going to flow with it,
Yeah. And and then I didn't get into any of the film schools I applied to. So then I was like, and part of the film school application is you have to have a pitch. They ask for different things, portfolio and stuff. And a lot of my pitches were including the Southern Illinois film, kind of a patchwork identity of the region for people over the course of a year. So they see seasons changing, they see people changing, and
that's cool.
They can identify with people and then also realize, oh, this area is also very different from, say, even central or northern Illinois or Missouri. Definitely different.
Yeah.
So then this video was, I think, 2021, and it was I had just done also, I do a little rap music.
Oh, really? So, okay. Well, nice.
Yeah, to preface, my rap name is actually Fat Log.
Fat Log.
Here we go.
There we go. Get it up there. There you go. Shout out to Fat Log.
So yeah, I did an album, and I was a middle school teacher in LA.
Nice.
And I had stopped teaching, but I wanted to help out the community still. And so I did a rap project, and the funds went towards different nonprofits in the community that were helping the kids or related to the kids. So one of them was Students Run LA, which is this nonprofit that helps kids run a marathon, but it's more than that. It's
That's
giving them
cool.
which I before that, I'm like, no way 12-year-old kid can run a marathon, like health wise, or like, but they make it happen. They have very structured plans, and
that's awesome. It's so funny you say that, because I'm actually running my first marathon tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Rin Lake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I could come cheer you on after my pancake breakfast at the Maple Syrup Festival.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's first one
Wow.
tomorrow. Rend Lake College. I think I'll be finishing. So I run at 8:30. It'll take about 4.5, 5 hours. So yeah, 1:00. I don't know, man.
Okay.
But no, it's interesting. But there is a training program I've been on, a roadmap of like this. If you just check these boxes off, you'll get there. So I've been doing it, and yeah. But anyways, side note. But that's tomorrow. But
hydrate up.
you can do it. Oh, I've got coffee, water, carbs. But so LA teaching school kids,
middle school. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, how does that? And you raise money for different nonprofits. How does that? Is that
translate to this?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like my first endeavor to like do some type of art project that can benefit community and not just be.
Now, is the rap song? Is that in this video or is
no? There's a little instrumental, I think.
Okay,
I haven't watched this in a while.
Let me just play this because I saw this. Oops.
Did you find it? How did you find it? Just on the webpage?
I think I was looking at the website. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I like the music too.
Thank you.
And so this is your logo patch. Did I see that on your shirt?
Hi, my name is Logan Whorton, founder and executive director of Logworks. Logworks is an organization for artists to help solve local and global issues in our communities through artworks that are collaborative, transdisciplinary, nonprofit, educational, and entertaining. Our mission is to work with artists to realize their dreams and simultaneously support their valued communities. I'm a big Napoleon Dynamite fan. Starts with an introduction between Logworks and an artist, just like this one.
I really think this animation's
idea of
cool.
what we want to
Like
create,
how you
or we might
with the
mold our
postcards
projects in
handwritten.
later
That's a cool
conversations.
style. Yeah.
The artist then shares a primer of influences, works, and background material that
Boost
give
that contrast up, you know?
Our next step
Make
is
it look like it's
conversation.
floating.
Usually conversations include desired goals, tasks, deadlines, and dates to reconvene. We also brainstorm communities to support.
So this was in
and
LA
ways to
too.
benefit them through our work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
I
think this is 2021.
Okay.
Cards, which we keep for tracking progress and building our community.
Nice.
So what does this look like in practice? And it's
Yeah, and then I
inaugural
talk
year of
about
2020, Logworks teamed up with
Yeah.
Log, my pop music persona. for a studio
Someone, my
album
girlfriend,
in
she called
Vermont,
me out. She's
named
like,
after the street intersection in the Pico Union neighborhood.
she's like, why are you talking about yourself in third person?
It's like it's my art project.
Yeah, it's a different, you know, personality, persona.
Sure.
That generated over $300
This is awesome, man.
in
This
pre-sale
is
fundraising.
really cool.
We evenly distributed the funds to 3 in need and 1 for the team. 3 parts went to nonprofit organizations benefiting the Pico Union Koreatown.
So this is like, I think
Koreatown Popular Assembly, Koreatown for All, and Student
what I was
Network.
talking with the lawyer about, like,
Mhm.
how can I
Logworks and the artist.
get some type of
What can
nonprofit
you expect of Logworks in the future?
designation
Our
instead of
first
like an
step is to
LLC.
continue building our global
And there's
community.
implications with that. Like,
Organize
is
introductions.
Union Street Arts a nonprofit or is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's an
Part-
LLC.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a.
We should talk about that, the process that you went through to decide that.
Yeah, well, there was a lawyer involved and corporation, like. Yeah, I mean, really, I think it's just simpler. My little background on me, if you didn't know, there's another nonprofit here in town called Art Starts. Not to divert too much from this, but like a children's theater program. My group of moms founded it 20 years ago. Super involved in that for 20 years. Learned a lot from the nonprofit space. And actually, my mom is also my attorney. So she's giving me this advice, right? So basically, you know, she's like, nah, you want it to be an LLC for various reasons. But yeah, I mean, it's important to talk to like people that know what they're talking about. Because for me, I went to film school, didn't have any background in any of this. So finding people that know what to guide you towards is really important. I'll say that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, you know, it's a lot. So, you know, is there, And so this was mostly done out in LA. When did you come back? Is there are you based in Southern Illinois now? What's
Yeah.
the current status looking like?
So I'm in production on this film until December.
Okay.
Like I will not be shooting anything else after like December 31st. There's a winter solstice sunrise ceremony that happens at Coquia Mounds. And I filmed it this past December, and that's kind of going to be the bookends of it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see the summer solstice sunrise because I'll be. My other hat is I'm in the Army Reserve, and so when I was out in LA for about a year and a half, I was working for a general, like in like a full-time type role, and so that was taking like a lot of my time and energy, and it was kind of like a catalyst for. I think if I wouldn't have had that and teaching, I think those moments were like, I can't be living like this. I need to be doing something that is fulfilling the creative drive in me. And yeah, I think that during that when I was working for the general, I was getting up at 5 a.m., sometimes even earlier to make this zine that was raising money for the film. So this was like along the same time I was applying to film school, thinking about film school. And then I would drive the like hour to work because I was living in Northeast LA, and then my work was in like near Long Beach, just like 30 something miles in LA. That's
traffic.
Yeah, traffic. Yeah, especially coming home. It's nuts. It just really sucked. Yeah, but I was always like thinking, I'm like, oh man, it was almost like getting me just really revved up to prepare for this film, do this film. I was checking out books on Southern Illinois in LA from the LA Post. They actually had some. They had like a good amount. But then, of course, once I came here, it was like floodgates open. But there's this one book by a guy named John W. Allen. And he actually, I think he went to SIUC. He's definitely a professor there. Have you heard of him?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
He has 2 like super famous books.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
What is that? That's my phone.
You can take it. Take it on the pod. Take it on the pod.
My sister, Maggie. Maggie, we're live on YouTube. Hold on. We're live right now. Say hi.
Hello, Matt. You said Maggie?
That's Maggie.
Hey, Maggie. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Luke's killing it. Luke's killing it out here. One man show.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we talked about that. Got the marathon. This is my marathon coach, by the way. So shout out to Maggie. Wow. Maggie, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that, sister.
Has she done a few?
She's done many.
Oh wow.
So she's inspired me to do it. She's training for one right now too. She lives in Sweden. So anytime she calls, I try to answer, because it's time difference, way like 4,000 miles away. So anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But anyways, sorry about that.
Oh, I wish.
Maggie.
Call her back after this.
Gotta take the call for Maggie. But that's interesting. So have there been any surprises through still sticking to this documentary? Has there been any surprises? Has there been any challenges or anything like that? Any that you think is worth sharing that someone might be able to learn from or take something from your experience through the process?
I think every time I go out to film, I'm learning something new. I mean, I don't even want to look back on some of the older footage because it's like, oh man, I was just like spending too much time on this. But yeah, I think it's just being open to like people, like having people recommend things is huge. Like saying, sure, yeah, I'll talk to this person. Because you just never know who someone knows or what little cool history they have. And yeah, I'm trying to think of like a specific example for you.
That's okay.
Um,
But there is that open mind going in and learning something. I think that's really important. You know, and particularly during documentary, a lot of times I did a documentary film program, part of SIU Carbondale, and we did a short film to study abroad, just like you, man. And you know, the story sometimes will take you, you know, like, and just being open and listening, and like, where's this story gonna go? You know, I think that's good. Yeah.
yeah, that just sparked. I mean, it's what's really exciting is I've filmed kind of these storylines because I've kind of broken it up. This is getting into the film structure, but for those film fans out there, yeah, filmmaking people, so I have like kind of 3 layers, like a layer cake, and then so the top is like individuals. So then I'm following certain individuals over the course of a year, and that's kind of my like story arc. Some of these people's stories, what they're trying to achieve. Like athlete, a rapper, and then people just doing like seemingly everyday normal jobs, but that have their stories are equally as valuable. They're trying to achieve things. They have drama in their lives. And yeah, so it's I guess being open to how you can best tell that story. So that's the individual level. And then the middle of that cake is the culture, the traditions, the events, festivals that go on here. So tomorrow I'll be going to the Maple Syrup Festival, which being graduating from the University of Vermont, I'm very excited to compare.
That's gonna be a tough one, though. I think to go compared to Vermont. I mean, that's pretty known for maple syrup.
Yeah, they. But you know, I'm going. This is different. You know, and actually, some people who've grown up in Southern Illinois, they're like, I didn't know we even were able to make maple syrup here. I was like, yeah, me neither until a few months ago. You know, like doing research and stuff. But yeah, and then finally the base layer is the histories. So like I've probably, it's been, I think I just decided I was going to do some sort of film. At first it was just going to be a month in Southern Illinois in spring, and that was back in 2021, and then it evolved into a year long thing in early 2022 because I just realized there's so many things that happen throughout the year, throughout the region, and the different looks. Like, you know, the Shawnee Forest is going to look so different in summer versus fall, and you know, both beautiful times. But I just really wanted to give people like this full picture of the area, or as full a picture as I can give, you know. That's kind of my whole goal. So yeah, that history base layer is important, but it's also important to like make it interesting for people. So it's a fun challenge to kind of try to bring out those interesting points from the history and how they can be juxtaposed with what's going on currently, especially Williamson County. It's just it's super interesting, the difference in currently what's going on here and then what was going on in the past. So
is there any major difference between maybe the what I would call Metro East versus the Carbondale area? Is it the Shawnee? Is it? I mean, one's close to the river. We're a little bit more inland here, but I don't know. They're kind of similar in culture, though, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a ton. I would say a ton of similarities, but equally as many differences. And so much of that is you can trace back to the history too. I mean, Metro East was super industrial, there was industrious people down here too.
The industry on the river. That's just
coal, and coal mining across. I think that's one thing that is pretty much across the region. The coal history,
for sure. That's a big part of that identity. What brought wealth to this region, and it is. It really, really is. Everybody's family's got coal miners. It seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, I know mine does. My family that's from here, at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of coal miners in years past. But so that I think that's really cool. I do want to get in another segment. So is there any I know I've got the film's Instagram. I do want to show that. Where can people find it? Can they expect it? Can they follow it? Is there something we can plug here for the documentary?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a Instagram and then we have a Facebook, and both of them, the username is So Ill Film, which I learned So Ill is like a rock climbing company.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in covering the rock climbing culture down here in the Shawnee Forest area.
For sure. There's a lot of cool like festival or like I don't know if they're called rock climbing festivals, but they're like big events down in like Jackson Falls area. They call it like the Holy Boulders. There's a shop and a couple like supply shops that you could find, and it's a huge subculture, the rock climbing too.
Yeah, and after this podcast, I mean, I'm definitely gonna want to. Well, we're gonna do an interview.
We've got an interview. We gotta finish this interview so we can get the next interview.
Yeah, so I can pick your brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, So Ill Film, and then people can expect. I mean, I'm doing all this is, I guess, the thing I want people to know. This is like, I have a lot of people helping out in different ways, but it's really like I'm doing the social media. Every day after I shoot, I do like a scrub of my footage, and I like kind of categorize it B-roll, or this clip has this is bad, whatever. I'll trash it, or I'll give it like an amber color. If it's green, I'm like, oh yeah, that's for sure. I want to include that later on. And then interviews are blue. But that's all to say, I'm doing all this by myself.
It takes a lot to do that. People don't understand what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to making documentary, processing footage, data management, coordinating interviews, scheduling on your own time, with everything else too going on. I mean, I'm sure you've got other interests and projects and relationships, but I mean, it's through December production, right? So the production ends in December. Do you have any, is it 24 you're shooting for post-production sometime in the 24 year?
Yeah. So I want to start post-production in January, or maybe give myself a little bit of time
off.
Holidays. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I expect 4 to 6 months of editing. That's my goal.
Yeah.
So then it would probably be most likely summer or fall 2024 for
I will say, when I did my first documentary, the film festival circuit might be something you want to look at for its release of this documentary. I don't know if you're familiar with Film Freeway. It's a really popular film festival submission website, and basically any film festival that's out there is going to be on there. There are a lot of stipulations with certain festivals, like
you have to premiere or something.
You can't have it live yet, and sometimes there's a delay of months or half a year. So I would look at that and see if you can do the film circuit, get it festival premiered, just get some exposure, that way. And then if there's another premiere or something, after the film festival circuit, that might be a good option.
No, that's definitely good advice, because I definitely want to do, people who have assisted on the film, collaborated, all my collaborators want to do some sort of showing for them.
That's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and
all that work leads up, and just to circle around, do a screening, Q&A. That would be cool.
Yeah, you'd be invited.
Oh, Luke. That'd be great, man.
I'd love to have you.
Yeah,
that'd be so dope.
Let's do it. So yeah, be looking out. Can they follow you anywhere else just for info about the doc or what else you've got going?
Yeah, I'd say if they go to logworks.org too, you can sign up for the mailing list. What I was also going to say is that I try to stay consistent with kind of updates on the film, but as you probably know, doing Union Street and all the other stuff, it can be hard to stay consistent with social media.
Yeah.
But I do like to pop in there to remind people, hey, I'm still out there filming.
That's good. Keep doing that. Give updates when you can. I mean, even if it's, a post here or there, just like that, even if it's the consistency, just like keep it going. Like that will stay in people's minds and, just help you make more connections, get some more people on the interview.
Yeah.
Just keep that process going. We like to say, just keep it going. Yeah. So yeah, be looking out. We got Logworks. Follow on Instagram. I need to do this a segment. Is there anything else you want to mention, Logan, about the documentary while I get this
prep the segment?
Yeah. Anything else at all? Any advice for someone doing a doc, wanting to do a doc themselves? Anything like that, or just anything?
I think people should just. It sounds like Shia. I always think of Shia LaBeouf. He pops into my head. Is just do it.
Hold on a sec.
Just do it.
Yes.
Exactly. You get it.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. You do some prep though. That's really important. Don't have some like idea of structure. Have some idea of like, oh, how am I gonna get funding? How am I gonna survive? How, like I do so many other things to like help make this happen, but it's like this is what I want to happen, so I'm gonna do all these other things. I'm not a person who likes to just look forward to my retirement or get home and just like binge stuff. I'm like always trying to be productive, I guess.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
We got one more.
Your dreams come true.
There you go. Shia LaBeouf. Words of a wise man. I do.
That's great. That's awesome. That was we didn't plan that. We didn't even plan that.
No, we've got some more for
God,
certain situations. But that's cool, Logan. So I recommend everybody follow along. Get on Instagram, check it out. We do have. I do want to plug our podcast here. If you are interested in being on our podcast, if anybody's listening, hey, go check us out. Apply here on our website. We love sharing stories. Submit your application. UnionStreetArts.com as well. Tell us about it. We're going to try to do these live. I mean, hopefully this works, Logan, when we look back and see maybe it sounded all right. We were having tech issues at the beginning. Couldn't get the audio to go. And it's like,
true.
Oh my gosh, live is a whole nother element. But if you're interested coming on the show, let me know. I'd love to talk to you.
I would recommend.
Oh, thanks, Logan. Yeah, man. So I do want to go into our last segment. This is a new segment I'm trying out. We can see if it works, see if it doesn't. But I'm thinking of it as like on the pulse or the pulse, maybe. Let me see. I think I've got. Let me see here. I meant to have this ready, but it's not ready. There's a lot going on, but we're calling this segment the pulse. Wait a minute.
Do you have a sound effect for it?
Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to get it.
I feel you, Luke.
Pulse.
Being a one-man band is really tough.
It is, but I did download it, but it's not ready. So sorry, guys. Stay with us. Time for this new segment, the pulse. This is a segment where we talk about current events, current issues going on. What's the pulse? What we try to stay like up to date. What's going on out there? We want to know so we can be inspired by it, get the context of what's relevant right now. And we want this to be a recurring segment. So I'll just break down the three podcasts. We're going to do a little bit of intro, have an interview, hot seat. Thank you, Logan, again, for being on the hot seat. Answering those questions, man. But the pulse, we're diving in. And today I want to talk a little bit about sort of video distribution and the rise of TikTok. Like, what's going on with that? Like, I want to talk to you about it too and see what your perspective is as a filmmaker. I know I've been slower to come around to TikTok, but you know, it is a platform, right? It's a major platform. So I don't, you know, I don't have any answers. This is just an open conversation about TikTok and
cool.
video distribution. All right. So, do you use TikTok? Are you on TikTok? What is your phone? Do you have social media on your phone? Let's start there. Like, what's
You're asking me like I'm like 70 years old.
Hey man, I never assumed.
Do you know what social media is?
So TikTok?
No, I don't have TikTok on my phone.
That's good.
I guess I've thought about getting it.
Do you have any social media on your phone?
I have Instagram, and then I didn't have Facebook for a long time. I actually deleted my Facebook. But now I have it for like documentary related things because it's great for events and like great for reaching out to people.
For sure. So mostly
do you?
I've got TikTok. Yeah, I've had to get it. I say I have to get it, but because we do a lot of like social media marketing promotions and stuff, the pulse, we have to like stay up with the trends, and you know, I need to be aware of what's going on there, I feel like. So I've got it. I've just been testing it. I don't know. I don't really use it that much, but I recently did get it. And I know there's a lot of concerns with it as well. Like, it's rotting the brains of the youth, and there's a lot of misinformation on there. Data privacy concerns. I know it's in the news this week. It's like going in front of Congress. Like, the CEO of TikTok has been sitting down and getting grilled on, is this like a Chinese, don't block us, censor us, like propaganda machine or tool? What is it? So I do see the negative sides of it, but I also see some of the positive sides now. It's like, because for a lot of people, it is a creative outlet. And like, who am I to say or to judge, like, that's not a valid creative outlet? You know, I can't say that. So I've had to become more open-minded to it, not just like, oh, I don't care, whatever. I've always been a YouTube consumer for a long time. That's really what got me into filmmaking, is like really watching documentaries on YouTube. Really, like Vice. I was really into Vice. That got me into it. Like the news, but so mostly use Instagram and just kind of.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's like different strokes for different folks almost. I guess I'm with you. I like YouTube because like a little longer form video stuff. But I think people who can do like TikTok and some of that short form stuff really well is impressive to me too. Like, if you see a 10-second clip or a 10-second video and you walk away like, wow, like, you know, that impacted me. I think that's super talented because, you know, it's so difficult to make something super concise. And
it is. Short form's a lot different, you know, but from this podcast, we'll take shorts out of it and put it probably on TikTok. The reason I brought this topic up today, one, I've seen it in the news. Two, yesterday, I sort of gave like a little talk to these high schoolers. They came to actually there's a business development center really close to here, incubator co-working offices. And we do a podcast up there as well. We just got done recording, and the group from Saline County, which is Harrisburg, which is just east of here, probably like 30 minutes or something, where Garden of the Gods is. These were this group of kids were coming from, and they were coming to Williamson County to tour the businesses that were in Williamson County. It was like a CEO group, CEOs Saline County. And I talked to them about some of the murals projects and some of the podcasts, and they're all like, "Is your podcast on TikTok?" I'm like, well, not really. Like, oh, you got to have your podcast on TikTok. I'm like, okay. And it takes a lot of me to be like, okay, high schooler or whatever, But really, I'm like, okay, that is just their point of view. Like when I got onto social, it was Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but that was just something I don't know. It's definitely what the kids are on. I've seen this, and that was just an example of this yesterday. So I was like, how, I don't know. I don't want to ban it either, though. I don't think it should be banned.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to ban a book either. Maybe regulated, maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. The idea of banning information, I don't like. I'm hesitant to. But I could see it because it's like there's so much like behind the scenes with like China and everything.
Yeah, the
I don't even wanna
regulation.
get into.
Yeah, I think
Because I don't know.
mhm.
But just in general, like, and particularly now that I guess that's like a huge part of the music industry now, the creator economy now, I guess is on there. I'm just waking up to this. But I was reading an article about it, and that's how a lot of songs pop off now. They get trending on TikTok, and
Mhm.
people create reels or whatever they are to the audio. And so I wouldn't want to necessarily like ban something that like people can share their art with. Maybe just it needs to be regulated or in different hands. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think the information part, like people's information, is the difficult part, and I think our government doesn't like when they can't control that, and it's
Mhm.
when it's on our population. So I think that's where the conflict has been happening. But yeah, like I don't know, I guess in general, like for new technologies and stuff, I try not to, because I think about like the old people that frustrate me, and it's like, they're just like, back in my day, or like this thing ruined everything. And it's like you can just trace back each generation, and so
Exactly. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, TikTok.
yeah, because
You
there was people saying that about the internet,
Yeah.
there's people saying that
Right.
about whatever thing.
Mhm.
I think there's always like, it's gray area,
Yeah, but it's a distribution point again for storytelling. It's a distribution point for ideas, for community building too. So I mean, I think like any tool can be used in a wrong way. Like if they're manipulating information to children, that's obviously bad. But can you create authentic community, fulfillment? Yeah. So you're right. It's a gray area, but I think we've hit our time for the pod. We've gone a little bit over it. Logan, is that? Do you have any final words on? I don't know. Just I don't want to say TikTok in general. The pulse. We'll have to work on this pulse segment.
I thought it was, I mean, I liked it. It's like, it's more, it's not so much, it's more back and forth,
Yeah. Maybe I got to work on it.
It's like
But,
you warm up
we're
your
trying
guests
things.
and then you just,
We're trying new things. That's
Yeah.
part of this is part of the creative process for us too. So I appreciate you just even being willing to sit down and go live here and just see what happens, man. So, but no, any last words before we jump off here and do another interview?
I'm just so glad that you allowed me to come on the show. We didn't mention, the reason I found the show is I searched literally in Spotify, Southern Illinois, like just typed that in LA
Really?
in 2021.
Wow.
And it was like one of your first podcasts about like the Southern Illinois, like punk scene or something.
Yeah, Southern Illinois rock and roll.
Yeah.
Shout out to that was Zach Arnold, Reese Smoot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then I kind of like through that found you guys, and then started listening to LA, and
That's awesome, man.
yeah, so it goes way back, and I was thinking, oh, it'd be so cool. Like, I think I even DM'd Reese or something like, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah, we got a cut,
Someday.
Reese. Reese is supposed to be here today, and he's out of town. He left town. I mean, Reese, where you at, man?
Dang.
But no, hopefully you can meet Reese. Awesome guy, great dude. Wish he was here on the pod with us, but
Southern
it's
Illinois
okay.
creative making stuff too,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I really like, I think the community aspect is so cool.
Yeah.
And to keep building that. And
Yeah.
so that way we have kids who are able to like grow up and do the stuff that we do even better than us, you know?
Yeah.
I hope it's like even better. We get some Oscars. And I mean, I guess some people from Southern Illinois have gotten Oscars, but
Yeah, no, I mean, there's you could say like a vortex of talented people, good people here. There really is. So, yeah. Any closing thoughts, Logan, before we sign off today?
Oh, I'm off.
All right,
I want to get my equipment.
I'm gonna set up for the next interview. But thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a good live stream, Logan. I appreciate you coming in, you know?
I mean, I didn't have a say in it. I just rolled it.
Hey man, you're getting on the pod. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I don't know if we'll be live next week. We're still on maybe a little break. We'll see how this live goes. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. The Union Street Podcast, follow us on Instagram, social media, all that. UnionStreetArts.com. Check out our shop. Final words. I think that's about it. So yeah, go out, be good. We'll see you in the next episode. Okay. Woo! All right.